Hi guys, my name's Andy and just wanted to share with you some of the things that I've been getting involved with regarding casting pewter. My wife and I were recently on holiday in Scotland, and while we were there we went to the Highland Games at Gordon Castle. Fabulous day out, very entertaining, and they had all sorts of stands and suppliers there, and one of the folks there was a guy called Tom Didcott, and Tom has a jewellery business, Riverside Silver, and he makes silver and pewter jewellery. I think he also works with gold and other materials. But anyway, Tom was very generous with his time and explained to me what he was doing with the pewter casting, and it sort of sparked my interest, and I thought, well, I'll have a go at that. And really this video is about some of the things that I've done with the pewter casting, but the main thing I wanted to share was how I found a better way to actually prepare the casting sand than what I see most folks doing on YouTube. So anyway, I'll show you what I'm doing, and I'll eventually get around to showing you what I'm setting out to show you. Okay, here we go. These are the sort of things I've been playing with. I wanted to make a pendant that's, I'll say, like that, and what I did, I made a model, if you like, an original, and I used copper foil. I got some very thin copper that I used to use for making transformers in the past. Anyway, I screwed up the copper, and then I filled the indents on at the back, as it were, with solder, and then I soldered another piece of copper over the back, and then bent a bit of copper tube and soldered it on. There's a piece of brass there, and that little just under the bail, I filled the holes in the copper tube because I don't want the sand to go in there when I'm making the casting. And these are what I've taken out of the sand casts. Okay, so you can see it's fairly good representation. The red colour, this is it's actually a thread locking varnish. It's a bit like nail varnish, but I just put it on here as I just wanted to see what effect it had on sort of mould release. This first one, I actually cast it with the intention of it looking like this, but there was an inclusion in the casting, so it actually got a hole in the casting there, so I simply cut the top off and shaped it into a circular bail rather than this sort of T bail that I normally use. My next one, I actually made it and it looked like this. It was a good casting, but when I drilled through there, I used a 1mm drill, and I broke it in there. Very difficult to drill the pewter with a small drill. You have to go very, very slowly because it gets hot and it locks onto the drill and simply breaks the drill. I've done that twice, so you'd think I'd learn. But anyway, so on that one, I simply cut the ends off this bail, simply so as I could get to the bit of broken drill. I could have just melted it down again and started over. And that was my third attempt, and that's come out okay. Okay, so that's what I'm making. This is the little casting flask that I bought to make the pendants in, and this is a oil-based casting sand. This is Petrobond, but it's the same or very similar to Delft casting sand. And I haven't opened this up. Oh, by the way, when you start making this up, this sand is hammered in, and it's the breaking up of that sand for reuse that I really want to show you. But okay, so that's you can see, hopefully you can see, that's the casting. I put a couple of little air vents there, but it seems as though the metal doesn't really need to flow up there. Okay, so that you can see, hopefully would clean up to be a perfectly respectable casting. A bit of inclusion there. I think I've got a bit of sand in the mix, but anyway, I'm still playing with this low temperature. The point I really wanted to make was this sand. You can see how hard it is. It's being compacted with a hammer. When you actually put the sand in this is called a flask, by the way. You start off by putting your original in there, bit of talcum powder on it, and then you put the sand in around it. And what they say is, because this sand gets hard, they say, oh, you cut it up with, don't know if you can hear that, it's a little bit crunchy. What they say is you cut it up with a rule and you mess about like this. But what I've found is, I've got an old tea strainer here, and what I've found is if I take the casting sand and push it through the tea strainer, it makes a really beautiful, light, fluffy mix, and this light fluffy mix is really good for when you come to start the next piece. So as I say, this is really what I wanted to share with you, the fact that this sand, it will go lumpy, and I suppose a bit of heat in there from the molten metal. This is pewter, so the temperature is nothing, it's ridiculously low temperature, but you can see, hopefully, that's made a really nice fluffy medium that when you come to start the casting again, it feels like heavy cotton wool, if that makes any sense. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to share with you, the fact that by squeezing this sand through the tea strainer, get that the right way up, let's see, that can be put in. Let's say you put talcum powder on there first, that's put in, and then as you build this up, don't need to strain the stuff that's going on the top. As you build this up, you get to the stage where you actually hammer the sand into place, and it's that hammering, this gets cleaned up.
it's the hammering that compacts the sand, which next time you come to use it, I normally do this with a scalpel, by the way, when you come to use it, though it's lumpy, but the pushing it through the tea strainer, anyway, I'm not going to do that because I'm not pretending that's even a proper job, but it's just to give you the idea. What I found with the tea strainer was, the first time I did it, I was pushing so hard I actually pushed the mesh, the netting, out of its very poor holder. But you can see, hopefully, I've laced through the holes and laced it round with some copper wire, and that gives it enough strength that I can push this powder through. You wouldn't do this if you'd got very long fingernails, but say it makes this lovely, fine, sifted sand. Anyway, guys, I hope you find that interesting. I'll show you a little bit of the pipers that we saw at Gordon Castle now. Hope you find that interesting and helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. All the very best. Bye-bye.
For these mass pipes and drums when they come to your part of the arena. What a tremendous sight and sound they